Episode 4: How to Do Shadow Work. Most people hear shadow work and imagine something mysterious, esoteric, or beyond them. It isn't. Carl Jung was a scientist. He believed the psyche operated by discoverable principles, and that the unconscious could be approached carefully, honestly, with the right tools, just like anything else worth understanding. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a practical, step-by-step method for doing shadow work. Not a spiritual practice, not a self-help ritual. A process rooted in Jungian psychology that you can begin today with nothing more than honest attention and something to write with. Before the method, let's be precise about what we're doing. Shadow work is not the same as therapy, though it can complement it. It is not about reliving trauma, though that may surface. It is not about becoming a better person in the self-help sense. Shadow work is the deliberate practice of making the unconscious conscious. It is the ongoing process of noticing what you've buried, understanding why you buried it, and slowly integrating those parts back into your full self. Jung called this individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole. Shadow work is how you do it, and the result is not perfection. It is authenticity, the capacity to act from your actual self, rather than from defenses you built decades ago that no longer serve you. Step 1. The Trigger Journal. This is where shadow work begins, not in meditation, not in visualization, but in honest documentation of your reactions. For the next 2 weeks, every time you notice a strong emotional reaction, especially one that feels disproportionate, write it down. Not the story of what happened. Just 3 things: what triggered it, what you felt, and how you behaved. Keep it short. 1 paragraph. The goal is not analysis yet. The goal is pattern recognition. After 2 weeks, read back through what you've written. You will almost certainly notice recurring themes. The same type of situation triggers you again and again. The same type of person sets you off. The same scenario makes you shut down or explode. These recurring patterns are the shadow's fingerprints. They tell you where to look. They don't tell you yet what's there. That comes in the next step. But without this foundation, shadow work is just guesswork. You need data about yourself before you can interpret it. Step 2. The mirror question. Once you have your patterns from the trigger journal, you apply what Jung called the mirror principle to the ones that recur most strongly. The mirror question is this: what does my reaction to this tell me about what I am unwilling to see in myself? This is not a comfortable question. The ego's first response will be to reject it entirely. Of course, the problem is that person's behavior, not something in me. And that may be partially true, but the intensity of your reaction is your data. Take the recurring trigger you identified in step 1. Write out in detail what specifically bothers you about it. Be as honest and ungenerous as you need to be. Then ask, where does this quality exist in me? Not whether it exists, where. The resistance you feel to answering this question is itself shadow material. Notice it, don't fight it. Just see it. Step 3. Active imagination. This was Jung's own technique, the one he used most extensively in his own inner work, described in detail in the Red Book. Active imagination is a form of structured dialogue with the unconscious. Here is the basic version. After identifying a shadow pattern, you sit quietly, close your eyes, and allow an image or figure to arise that represents this aspect of yourself. Don't force it. Don't construct it intellectually. Let it come. Then you engage it in dialogue, either mentally or in writing, which many people find more effective. You ask it questions. You let it answer. You resist the urge to control what it says. Written active imagination looks like this. You write a question in your own voice. Then you write a response, without deliberating, without editing, in the voice of the figure. The goal is speed and honesty, not coherence. You are fishing, not crafting. Do this for 10 minutes. Read what emerged. You will often find it surprising. Step 4. Reclaiming the projection. In Step 2, you identified a shadow trait through the mirror question, a quality you recognized in yourself that you had been projecting outward. Step 4 is the act of consciously taking that projection back. This is not the same as excusing the behavior of others. It is the act of saying, I see this quality in myself. I no longer need to locate all of it in you. The practical exercise is this. Write a letter, one you will never send, to the person or situation that triggered the projection. In it, acknowledge the quality you saw in them. Then acknowledge explicitly where that same quality exists in you. Be specific, be honest, don't soften it. You are not writing this to forgive, to understand, or to reconcile. You are writing it to take back ownership of a part of yourself you had exiled into someone else. When you write it honestly, something shifts. The charge around that person or situation usually begins to decrease, not because they've changed, but because you've stopped needing them to carry something that was always yours. Step 5. Integration practice. Integration is not a single event. It is a practice, something you return to over months and years as new layers surface. The basic integration practice is this. Once you've identified and dialogued with a shadow aspect, you consciously create small, deliberate opportunities to express it appropriately, intentionally, in the right context. If your shadow contains suppressed anger, integration doesn't mean becoming an angry person. It means finding appropriate ways to express disagreement, to set limits, to say what is true even when it's uncomfortable. If your shadow contains the unlived life, the ambition, the creativity, the need to be seen, integration means giving those parts legitimate expression. Not performing them for others, actually living them. This is slow work. The material in your shadow has been there for decades. It does not integrate in a weekend. But with consistent practice, you will notice, over months, that your reactions shift, that you spend less energy managing yourself, that you have access to parts of yourself that were previously unavailable. That is integration, not wholeness as a destination. Wholeness as an ongoing direction. 2 important notes before we close. First, shadow work can surface material that is genuinely difficult. Old grief, suppressed rage, childhood experiences that were never fully processed. If you find that this process is destabilizing you, if you're having trouble functioning, sleeping, or maintaining your daily life, please work with a therapist rather than going deeper alone. Second, go slowly. Jung spent years on his own inner work. The Red Book, his record of his self-analysis, took 16 years to complete. There is no race here. The unconscious opens at the pace it opens. Forcing it tends to produce more defense, not less. The goal is not to complete shadow work. The goal is to have an ongoing, honest relationship with your own depths. The 5 steps: the trigger journal, the mirror question, active imagination, reclaiming the projection, and integration practice. None of these will transform you overnight. All of them, practiced honestly over time, will change what you have access to in yourself, which changes what you can do, which changes what your life looks like. Jung believed that the unexamined life is not merely unfortunate. It is, in a real sense, less than fully lived. Shadow work is the examination. It is the ongoing, uncomfortable, deeply worthwhile act of becoming acquainted with yourself. Next week, the individuation process, Jung's complete map of psychological becoming. Link is right here. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.